Wow. So I think this is the first time that I've gone live here. Um, I really probably should use a microphone instead of the headset. I need to post, so there's that. Trying to eject something. Okay, so the reason why I'm on here is, yeah, I can't do the microphone unless I eject something because I've got to take a memory out in order to plug the other thing in, and it won't eject right now. So this is really something. This is something that I started working on. So not a single dad, but I'm not married to my son's mother. Never was. But it's super hard and it's been difficult. And I'm not going to poo-poo or ask anybody to choose sides or say, "Oh, poor me," or "Women are bad," or "Men are bad," or "I'm better," or "They're worse," or the situation. But let's just say, from a kid's perspective, any of this disruption in domestic life sucks, right? And especially if there's dishonesty or manipulation going on concerning the child, whether they're being lied to or they're being encouraged to lie, and or if somebody is bad mouthing the other parent or what have you. Here's the deal. Kids love their parents. You'll read about it. You'll see how even abused kids love their parents, right? So, um, the best thing to do in that situation is try and fix the parent, in my opinion. Now, I'm not an expert. However, it seems that I've become somewhat of an expert trying to figure this out and make sure that everything was good for him. And I did a ton of study and a ton of research. The internet is great if you use it properly and you're not, I did my research doesn't mean the first thing that hits on top of Google because that's going to be sponsored. You need to look for things that have actually been time studies studied through reputable sources and with results, not opinions. Anybody can write a paper or publish something based on their own opinion. Opinions are like something, and everybody has one, right? So let's not go there. But don't base this on opinion. And the truth is that in today's society, sorry, I have allergies, so I've got this crappy nose. Today's society is screwed up as far as kids and and the idea of parenting, right? Uh Number 1, and it's proven, all this screen time for kids, I don't care if you got them on something educational. If you're training them to just watch a screen, you're doing a disservice to your kid. If you want them to learn something and you want them to do it on the screen or whatever, there's a time set for that and they do that. Do not make them be in love with a screen. It's bad for them. It's proven. It's not an opinion. This is not my opinion. This is studied through behavioral psychology and pediatric health and everything else. You can use the internet and you can use the screens, but use them. Don't let them use your kids, and don't let them use you either, because a lot of this, let's be honest with ourselves, a lot of this is us being lazy. It's good. I was at church and, you know, I I'm an analytical person, and literally the pastor was saying, "Oh, the internet's great and tablets are great and stuff like that. It's like it used to be. I hear stories about how hard it was to take kids on flights and stuff. Now you just put a screen in front of them and they're occupied the whole time and they don't." I'd prefer the kid to be curious. It's difficult, it's time consuming, and it's stressful for the parent, but that's your job, man. It's your job. And we have a job raising these kids. Okay. So that's me on the screens. Don't let the screens raise your kids. Raise your kids. You raise your kids. Seriously. Um, And don't let society's belief system raise your kids. Let what's proven raise your kids. We are raising a generation that is less informed, less capable. The first time in history, we're raising a generation that is less than what we are. This is it's historic, right? We are literally dropping the ball with these kids. And in order to do this with my kid, and I actually have been openly criticized for doing what is proven to be effective and proven to be beneficial to him. I've been openly criticized for this. And it's a fact. Having kids be able to go out, interact with other kids, run not free, but semi-free. You know where they are. You give them a watch. You tell them how to. You teach them how to tell time. They have to check in. You know, if they want to go see their friend or something else like that at a certain age limit. You know, I wouldn't send a 5-year-old out to do that unless you're in like a gated one street community. But you give them, well, even then, they would have to be able to, and you would have to trust them for their accountability. But it's necessary. What do they learn? If you're not letting them learn, every moment your child is awake, they're learning. Every moment. There's not a moment that they're awake that they're not learning. So if you are not giving them the environment and the information and the stuff that you want them to learn, they're going to learn whatever else the world gives to them. This is a fact. This is not my opinion. This is a fact. Anyways, I don't know if this speaker is working properly. I hope it is. It might not be. You might not be hearing anything. In fact, let me shut this thing down and do my post, and then, because it's been 7 minutes. Anyways, this is proven. This is proven, and I've implemented on my kid. I did a ton of time and research, and this is like pennies, for a lifetime. It's like, this isn't a subscription or anything else like that. This is 1 year worth of work with your kid. And if you wanted to do it for 2 years, you just go and buy another one because you mark this up, right? So it's marked up. I mean, you mark it up, but it's guidelines. There's 7 key pillars, right? So I come from the construction industry, so I'm thinking foundations and pillars and what holds things up and everything else. And what makes things strong? Well, it's foundations and pillars and posts and things like that. And if you don't build it strong, it collapses or it just doesn't last, right? It might look pretty, it might seem good at the beginning, but it's not going to last. But if you build it strong, and so what I came up with was 7 solid, subjects that should be paid attention to. So discipline over motivation, because without discipline, what is motivation? Motivation is, here, I'll do this and I'll give you something. That means that if you need them to do something and you don't have something, you have trained them that I'm not doing nothing unless I get something, right? How is that good for personal responsibility? When they have to do something, they're not going to do it, even if it's for themselves, because they don't see the reward in it, or they don't see what's going to happen 5 years from now or 10 years from now. And then the next pillar is ownership and accountability. You have to own things. If it happens in your life, very few things that happen to you or your children don't have some element of responsibility on their part. Some things do. Some things happen out of the blue, rocks and meteors fall out of the sky and lightning strikes and things like that. However, in most situations, there is some personal responsibility. So not only, like I said, they're learning every moment they're awake. If they see you not taking responsibility for what you do in your home, in your business, when you talk to other people, or when you pay your bill, if you're not being responsible, and or you're trying to take advantage, and then don't expect any better from your kids. If they see you doing that, don't expect any better for your kids. On the same part, everybody goes the easiest way, right? You don't want them to be a pack of dogs, so you have to hold them accountable too. They have to be responsible for their behavior and what they do and this, that, and the other. And it doesn't require beatings or severe punishment. It can be just a consequence, you know? Uh, you, you did something really wrong, okay? Now I want you to own up to that and everything else. And you could give them a second chance, or you could, but if you give them a second chance, that consequence has to happen. But you have to explain what that consequence is going to be. Or you could apply the consequence, not too bad. You're not trying to hurt them. You're trying to teach them. Okay. But anyway, so that's the next pillar. And then the other one is gratitude in the grind. That means be thankful even just to wake up. Like I get up every morning, and sometimes my wife and I are going at each other the night before, or even she wakes up, or I wake up grumpy in the morning. Okay, I'm not going to say it's just her. Every morning, get up, look out the window, look at your family. You woke up. It could be as simple as that. I woke up this morning, because nothing is guaranteed in this life, right? Nothing is. So be thankful for absolutely everything. And that's what gratitude in the grind is. And that means that even when it's hard, be grateful for that, because it's life. And life is a glorious, wonderful thing. And then emotional strength. Things are going to hit, they are. And so if you're protecting your kids all the time, if you're not allowing them to have the adversity and to be hurt, kind of, I mean, not hurting them, but allow them to feel that and work through that, is they have to. Nothing gets stronger through atrophy. You're not going to get stronger by staying in bed. You can heal by not doing something. If something really bad happens, something really bad happens emotionally, something really bad happens mentally, or something else like that. 10, 15 minutes meditating, just quiet, uninterrupted. It's healing. It's not avoiding. Okay. Don't avoid these things. You have to address them. Okay. Not reactive, thoughtfully. Okay. So that's emotional strength. You don't want to break down or avoid difficult things because you don't want your feelings boo-booed. Do you? Or do you want your kids? I don't think so. Not really. You don't want your kids to cry. You don't want your kids to hurt. You don't want your kids to fall down. You don't want them to experience anything difficult. This is true. This is normal for parents. But if you don't allow that, if you don't actually provide that for them on the daily, they should be challenged every single day. If you don't do that, if you don't make it a habit, it won't be a habit, and they'll grow up to be adults, young adults, teenagers, people with kids of their own that avoid the difficult things. And then they're not going to be able to do anything except for what is given to them. And this is a fact. This is called training. This is behavioral. This is the very basics of behavior. Okay, so that's emotional strength, and that's just the fourth pillar. And we're on the seventh one. That's why I'm doing this. And then the fifth is character before comfort, right? Again, with the comfort. Everybody wants to be comfortable, but just being comfortable does nothing. Couch potato, right? It's a life of couch potato, right? Are you a couch potato? Or are you somebody that gets out and does things, right? Because your character, a person's character, who are you going to call? If there's, I guarantee you, if there's something that needs to be done or there's something important and you know somebody that can be there, that's somebody with character. Or you know that there's somebody that will be honest with you, not just on your side. Like if you are running into something difficult, that they're going to actually help you resolve that or be there with you to get through it honestly, not excusing you and not supporting you doing something wrong. That's somebody of character. And if you're that person, congratulations. But these are things that you should be doing in your own life and also presenting to your children so that they grow up with the right habits. So that would be the fifth pillar. And then we run on to the sixth pillar, which is family. And family, I understand a lot of people have very difficult family situations. Some people don't have a family. Some kids are in a foster situation. But to a child, any authority figures can be looked at as family, and they are influential. Children learn from the moment they wake up until the moment they go to sleep every day. And as adults, you should also strive for that, learning from the moment you wake up till the time you go to sleep. So the authority figures in a child's life that are influential, the adults that are around them are influential. And a lot of these really bad behavior kids is not because they're bad kids. It's because what they've seen in adult behavior is either something they've modeled and become what you see, or something that they so detest and something that they're so disappointed in and something that hurts them so much by experiencing that they have to act against it. Internally, they have to. It's not like as adults presenting to these children something that helps them build. That's why this is so important. So even if you're a foster parent and you have kids in your place, this is gold for that because kids like this. Like my son eats this up, man. And he has a very, 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 very difficult situation that he's running into because of the situation with his mom and I. Which then we go into the last pillar, which is the seventh pillar, which is really, really, really important in my opinion, and that is purpose and identity. So, who does your child and these aren't questions that children should take so responsibly and seriously when they're kids, but this purpose and identity, which in a child should be taken up sectionally, purpose and identity, right? So purpose, what is your purpose today? And it's our job to present them with things that are going to give them some sense of fulfillment. A lot of team sports are very good for this, and not participation trophy sports. Those don't, those train the opposite. What kind of identity do they have if everybody has the same identity? They don't have an identity. They're just another cog in the wheel, right? There's no sense of accomplishment for a good pass, a basket, or a goal, or just assisting somebody else, or communicating in order to accomplish. Participation sports do not encourage that type of thing. They actually are against individual identity. And this does not mean that the your kid or the other kid, and I'm against that, or the absolute end all and everybody else is a piece of garbage out there. That is not what a healthy team does. If you ever encounter in team sports a really well-oiled machine, even the guy that doesn't do a whole lot, sitting in the back waiting for his time, knows that he's as important as the striker out front, uh, getting the last touch before the goal, because he knows that, and because his part is important. So it's that identity, right? Purpose and identity, and it's not just in sports, although sports really help with that, okay? And so, and in these sports, there's supporting roles in sports too. So as they get older, I would encourage you to get them into team sports. And then if you have the ability to get them into some kind of individual sport, where they are competing on an individual level, uh, this is really good for that. So, that's that. All right, so I went through the 7 pillars here. I am gonna get back on this, and actually, I think I might have this might not be the 7th pillar. It might be the 6th, but I'm still excited about it. All right, that's it. I'm gonna get out of here. Hopefully, the speaker worked. It doesn't look like it is, so it was hopefully, it wasn't just me. Oh, you like the shirt? Chinese New Year.